Welcome back, everyone, to Ferris Sports Update. Time to talk men's basketball. And with us, head coach Andy Bronkema. And coach, first of all, welcome back. Congratulations on 2 big wins this past week.
Yeah, it feels real good.
Bulldogs heading into the offseason here. A couple games left in the season, but on a little bit of a hot streak here. 3 of your last 5, and playing some better basketball here down the stretch.
Well, that rough stretch in the middle was it wore on us, and just the fact that we've came back to play better basketball and guys are improving every day is something that moral victory or something we can hang our hat on, and guys are settling into their roles this year and really making plays right now. So we're excited, we're happy. It happened a little late, later than we wanted it to, but better late than never, and it's going to propel us into the off season and into next season the way we want to go.
You started off on Thursday night at home, Wink Arena against Wayne State, and kind of a little bit of a rivalry developing here over the years with the number of kids you've had from the Detroit area taking on Wayne State.
Well, absolutely. When we went down to Wayne this year and they blew us out in the second half, that was not a great feeling. Every game we've played with Wayne the last few years has really come down to the wire. So, another game down to the wire, and our guys just made some plays, and the plays we made in this game were the offensive rebounds. And if you were at the game or if you've seen the stats, you can see we had 22 offensive rebounds in this game, some real big ones down the stretch. And our guys just competed for a full 40 minutes and came out with a victory.
You did so against a Wayne State team, a veteran team with 6 seniors and some guys that have been around the program for a while.
Yeah, it was really a big win for us because they're still fighting for the conference tournament berth, and we've, like I said, battled with them throughout the years, and all of our guys kind of from the same area, but they're still battling for the tournament and have beaten us pretty bad earlier in the year, and then for us to come out and take this victory from them, it was a real good win for us.
Jabril Jackson right there with a 3-point shot, and he had a big weekend for you.
Jabril, the last 4 or 5 games has been, just really picking it up. He's averaging about 18 points per game in the last 4. And as a sophomore, it's good to see that because, anybody who has a pretty solid career, does something a little bit special their freshman, sophomore year. So as a young player, he's been able to do some things, and now we're expecting big things for the rest of his career, that's for sure.
Another sophomore right there, Jared Stoliker, with a nice move along the baseline.
Jared has put some good time into practice. He's really practiced well this last week and a half, and it's translated into great games. He's getting lower in the post, and he's covering ground with the dribble, becoming a better ball handler in the post, and then making some solid, strong post moves. So he's been real active in practice, and that's transferred right into the games, these last 2 games.
75-72 Bulldog win over Wayne State, and a hard-earned victory. Came up with some big plays, some big offensive boards down in the final minute.
Well, Josh Fleming decided he was going to get every offensive rebound for a stretch there, and then Drew Lehman, he chased one down big down the stretch, and then they had to foul. And we haven't been a great free throw shooting team. That's something we have to practice and rep out here as we continue to practice and in the off season. But we were able to overcome our free throws the last 2 games with just some outstanding individual plays.
Came back on Saturday in a kind of a unique week, at home on Thursday, on the road on Saturday, and taking on Saginaw Valley State, and another team that's really trying to establish some momentum heading into the offseason. Yeah,
with our game being canceled against them earlier in the year, it was kind of unique because we haven't seen them. We're the second time through on all these teams, and scouts are a little tighter, and for them, we go ahead and play Grand Valley here on Thursday, and then on Saturday we meet up with them again. So it was a unique scout, and we hadn't played each other. And typically, over the past few years, Saginaw has been a tough place for us to play, dating all the way back to the Justin Keenan years. So this blowout win was quite a surprise, but it was just one of those days, Robert, when all the shots were falling in, and you'll see a couple of highlights here with some off-balance shots just rolling in and getting those bounces, those friendly rolls, and give our players credit for making the plays. And we've went the last 2 games with a smaller starting lineup, but what that means is those guards are able to penetrate on some of the bigger teams guarding us and really kick the ball to open shooters. And our assists have been up, and we're really sharing the ball. I don't like the help side right there on that one, but yeah, our assists are up.
Bulldogs putting up 90 points up and down the floor in this game, but you took care of the ball, just 4 turnovers here in this game.
Well, that's another advantage in starting a small lineup, and we don't necessarily want to be so small necessarily, but you take it for granted how well Drew and Dietrich and Jabril take care of the basketball. They dribble that thing like no one can ever take it from them, and that's pretty much what happens in these games. And it's just a nice side effect, and the credit goes to them. There's a nice high-low in the zone. Saginaw went zone against us. We were able to get that ball to Josh Fleming at the top, and he's really our best player at that free throw line area of turning and shooting or kicking it opposite or dumping it down to our bigs. There's Jabril coming off a flare, and you can just see these guys. Here's one of those off-balance shots. Those were going in, but you can see these guys in their confidence. There's another one by Jabril. I guess he's kind of got a knack for that. But they're setting up, down and ready, and they're knocking these shots down. So, like I said, better late than never. But that's just another confidence shot right there by Drew Lehman, and it's good to see that. And I know it's going to propel us into the offseason and next year.
90-68, the final. You led by as many as 29 points, so really able to put the game away and get some guys some time down the stretch.
Absolutely. I mean, we kind of have our rotation a little shorter right now with a couple injuries and people out. So, guys got time, and we're all coming together. We're in a good place right now. People are figuring out their role and making some plays, and our attitude, our effort is right where it needs to be, and we're meeting expectations.
Back at home this week, 2 games, and I know at Wink Arena you guys have played some good basketball here in the second half of the season.
Well, I've said it all along, we're 10 points better at home, so it has to do with our comfort level, obviously, of shooting at those baskets in practice every day, and then the energy that the fans bring, and wish we could play them all at home, that's for sure.
You start off on Thursday night at your arch rival, Grand Valley State, coming to Big Rapids, and a tough game down in Allendale earlier in the year. Talk about what it takes to beat Grand Valley here at home.
Well, it was just an overall disappointing effort there at Grand Valley. We didn't give it everything we had. There were some things that were holding us back, and we've since then we've adjusted, we've made adjustments, we've addressed those things that were holding us back, and we're really in a good place right now. So, being at home and then kind of figuring out some of those things that were causing us not to play up to expectations, I think this time around it's going to be a game right down to the wire, and then we make a few big plays and we're going to win it.
Then on Saturday, a rematch, tough turnaround time here. You just played Saginaw Valley. You play them again in the season finale here on Saturday. Talk about that quick turnaround time playing the same team.
Well, maybe we can mix in a few counter plays to some of the actions we ran against them before, because they'll be fresh in each team's mind. But it's going to be a pretty familiar team coming in. The scout will be a little bit shorter, and the teams will know each other, and we're both in a position where unfortunately we're not in the postseason. So for us, we always have hope and lots to play for, and we want to close the season, and so will they. So it should be a typical GLIAC battle right down to the end, and again looking to make a few plays and close out the game and end the season on a winning note.
Final 2 games here of the season, and that means the final 2 games for your lone senior, Ramon McAfee. Just talk about his impact, what he's brought to the program.
Well, with the graduation and Trent Messer, taking the year off. I mean, Ramon was in a position where we needed him to step up, and he's definitely had the best basketball year of his career, and he's been huge for us. Posting a couple double-doubles, and really coming off the bench. He started a few games, but played starters minutes in plenty of those games, and the way he protects the rim and blocks shots, and he's been more patient and finishing under the hoop, and then that 15 to 17 footer, especially on the baseline, has been money for him this year. So we're truly going to miss Ramon, and he's come a long way, not just on the floor but off the floor, and we're looking forward to getting him graduated and seeing him through that, and then couldn't be more proud of Ramon, that's for sure.
Coach, best of luck to the Bulldogs.
Hey, thank you.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.